The Ant King remarks that Jinwoo has a threatening presence as it unleashes a deafening roar directly into his face. Jinwoo merely asserts that the creature is now behaving more like an insect. 5 minutes earlier, the broadcast ends abruptly, leaving the public in confusion and alarm. People question what has happened to the hunters. Park Jong-soo is frustrated, unable to believe that the broadcast cuts off at such a critical moment. Yoon-tae is equally confused, trying to understand the situation. News channels provide updates announcing the tragic death of Min Byung-gyu. They inform the public that the other hunters remain inside the tunnels and that their chances of survival are uncertain. Just as the tension escalates, news breaks that an unknown hunter has appeared at the battle scene, and the live coverage of the raid is set to resume. Meanwhile, in Japan, Sugimoto plays Goto's last conversation with the Ant King for Matsumoto. Matsumoto wonders how an ant can speak the human language, and, more importantly, how it managed to kill Goto. He demands to know where the monster is now. Sugimoto informs him that it has returned to the Queen's chamber. Stunned, Matsumoto asks if that means the South Korean team is still alive. Sugimoto confirms that it appears so, and that they are also detecting even more mana signals from another presence. The Japanese chairman orders the television to be turned on. He needs to see the live coverage from the South Korean press. Back in South Korea, Jinwoo's mother struggles with the television, telling Gina that it suddenly stopped working. When Gina asks where Jinwoo is, their mother replies that he left in a hurry, saying he wouldn't be long. As their mother continues to fuss with the TV, Gina suddenly rushes to her room and turns on her phone. Her eyes widen in shock as she freezes at the sight on her screen. At the Hunter Association, Go Gun-hee grips his armrest tightly as he watches the unfolding scene on television, filled with hope and determination, while his associate urges him to stay calm. The Ant King makes the first move, charging forward with immense force. It swings its arm, aiming directly at Jinwoo. The powerful jab lands hard against Jinwoo's face. The impact is strong enough to nearly bend him backward, but he holds firm, planting his heels deep into the ground to brace himself. The sheer force of the blow shatters the ground beneath them, sending cracks and debris flying in every direction. A shockwave cuts through the air as the cavern trembles under the intensity of the strike. Jong-in remarks that a mage should never get so close to their enemy, while Baek adds that Jinwoo underestimated the ant's strength and ended up getting hit in the face. The Ant King, believing it has badly wounded its opponent, declares that Jinwoo is weak and must not be the king. Yet, to everyone's shock, Jinwoo remains unyielding. He spits out blood with disdain, treating it as nothing more than an annoyance. His cold, determined eyes lock onto the creature. With a swift movement, Jinwoo activates the Commander's Touch, forcing the Ant King onto its knees. Then, Jinwoo moves in. Before the creature can react, he unleashes a devastating punch that connects directly with the Ant King's face. The sheer force of the blow tears through the air and sends the Ant King hurtling backward, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The cameraman and Taegyu stare in shock, their jaws dropping. The sheer power behind Jinwoo's punch leaves Dongwook speechless. He turns to Baek and Jong-in, questioning whether they are certain Sung is a mage-type hunter. Baek admits that he knew Jinwoo was powerful, but he never imagined he would be this strong. The Ant King roars in fury, its eyes blazing with rage. He lunges at Jinwoo, determined to retaliate. Jinwoo notes that the ant's body is quite sturdy, likely due to its exoskeleton. A cold smile forms on Jinwoo's face as he finds the situation increasingly irritating. The Ant King, clasping both hands together, prepares to deliver another powerful blow. However, Jinwoo effortlessly blocks the attack. The two combatants engage in a brutal close-quarters battle, exchanging heavy blows without holding back. Each strike is met with an equally powerful counterattack. Jinwoo swings his arm with full force, landing a devastating blow against the Ant King's body. The creature retaliates by slamming Jinwoo on the head. Jinwoo strikes with unmatched speed and power, while the Ant King's eyes burn red with fury. The surging waves of mana from their battle are so intense that even the cameraman, an A-rank hunter, struggles to stay on his feet. The sheer pressure alone makes him feel as though he is about to pass out. Meanwhile, the Ant King begins to realize that it is losing the battle of strength. Hairline cracks start appearing on its exoskeleton, and he wonders who this human could possibly be to overpower it. With a steely glint in their eyes, both fighters launch another devastating blow. Their fists collide, forcing them both backward. The Ant King is stunned. Jinwoo has broken through its exoskeleton. Before he can fully process the danger, Jinwoo seizes the opportunity and rushes forward with such speed that the Ant King cannot react in time. Jinwoo strikes again, this time landing a powerful blow to the creature's face, causing it to stagger. Desperate, the Ant King retaliates, shooting a venomous needle from the tip of its long tongue directly at Jinwoo's face. Though Jinwoo avoids serious injury, the needle still manages to scratch his cheek. Jinwoo falls to his knees as the poison spreads through his body. This is no ordinary toxin. After consuming a cone snail, the ant gains the power to use paralysis poison. One of the most lethal substances created by Mother Nature becomes even deadlier when mixed with the mana concentrated inside the ant's body. The beast ant looks down at Jinwoo, preparing to strike, and acknowledges that Jinwoo has tried his best. The Ant King launches a full-force attack, but Jinwoo effortlessly grabs its arm. The Ant King is stunned, unable to comprehend how Jinwoo is still moving. With his right fist, Jinwoo delivers a powerful punch, sending the ant tumbling across the den. A notification appears, confirming that Jinwoo has been successfully detoxified. He quickly realizes that the beast felt happy, perhaps because he was poisoned. Since his sense stat has increased, he can now feel the ant's emotions. He is certain that the ant is starting to feel nervous, but his teammates are also growing anxious. He needs to end this fight quickly. Jinwoo leaps into the air, closing the distance between himself and the Ant King in an instant. He aims a powerful flying kick at the creature. However, as his foot slams into the ground, the Ant King has already disappeared. Baek and Jong-in are bewildered, unable to determine where the ant has gone. Jinwoo, however, remains calm. Looking up, he sees that the Ant King has used its wings to fly above their heads. The beast realizes that Jinwoo is resistant to poison. Trying to overpower him would be a waste of time. If strength is his greatest asset, there is no point in facing him head-on. The Ant King determines that his true advantage lies in his speed. He contracts his body, focusing all his energy on increasing his agility. His body shrinks, and his claws elongate into razor-sharp blades. Observing the transformation, Jinwoo summons his 2 daggers, ready to finish this quickly. Both warriors prepare for the next phase of their battle. The Ant King dives toward Jinwoo with incredible speed. As the ant's claws slash at him, Jinwoo effortlessly dodges, moving so quickly that the Ant King's eyes widen in disbelief. Seizing the opportunity, Jinwoo swiftly spins and counters, but the beast blocks the attack with his claws, flicking Jinwoo away. As Jinwoo lands, he wastes no time and immediately dashes forward again. Both combatants charge at each other with blinding speed, their weapons clashing in a rapid exchange. With each blow, the Ant King grows increasingly unnerved. He realizes that Jinwoo is not merely keeping up with him, he is moving even faster. Jinwoo assesses the battle, noting that the Ant King is as strong as the Demon King, perhaps even stronger. However, Jinwoo has leveled up after defeating the Demon King and now wields a more powerful weapon. Additionally, he has inflicted noticeable damage on the ant's exoskeleton. He can end this fight. As the Ant King steps back, Jinwoo seizes the opportunity and presses forward. He activates his skill, Critical Attack. With precise timing, he unleashes a flurry of critical strikes. Suddenly, a notification appears, confirming that his skill, Critical Attack, has been upgraded to the maximum level, Mutilate. As the Ant King attempts to retreat, Jinwoo swiftly activates Mutilate and slashes at the Ant King multiple times. He relentlessly strikes the already weakened exoskeleton, severing one of the Ant King's long black limbs. The beast roars in agony, realizing that he has no advantage over Jinwoo in either strength or speed. Just as despair begins to set in, the Ant King recalls one last weapon in his arsenal. Letting out a deafening roar, he summons his swarm. Thousands of ants flood into the den in response to his call. Confidently, the Ant King asks Jinwoo what he plans to do now. But Jinwoo only grins, shocking the Ant King. Without hesitation, he commands his shadow soldiers to attack. Following his order, the shadow soldiers charge at the enemy, their footsteps thundering through the cavern. A brutal clash erupts between the shadow soldiers and the Ant King's army. Igris dominates the battlefield, slicing through hordes of enemies with his long blade, while the high orcs use brute strength to shatter their opponent's defenses. Meanwhile, Jinwoo summons Tusk, instructing him to attack only the ants and warning that if he harms any humans, he will never be summoned again. Understanding the command, Tusk nods confidently. He uses the skill Hymn of Giants to increase his size, then prepares a massive fireball. Unleashing his next skill, Hymn of the Fire Dragon, he engulfs the army of magic beast ants in flames. The attack is so immense that it shatters the cavern ceiling. Taegyu, stunned by the display, wonders if Jinwoo truly summoned that beast. Dongwook, equally shocked, remarks that it does not resemble a beast at all. It looks as if the devil himself has descended upon the land of the living. Meanwhile, the Ant King stares in disbelief. Since birth, he has always been the strongest. He has devoured everything in his path and claimed his place at the top of the food chain. To him, there is no limit to how powerful he can become. He is the king. But now, panic grips him. To survive, he realizes he has no choice but to flee. Regenerating his wings, he takes to the air in a desperate escape attempt. Jinwoo watches as the magic beast ant uses Min Byung-gyu's healing ability. This is the first time he has encountered a beast capable of absorbing an opponent's skills by consuming them. The Ant King's only thought is to get as far away as possible. However, before he can escape, Jinwoo activates the Commander's Touch. An invisible force suddenly presses down on the Ant King, slamming him into the ground with immense force. Jinwoo walks over to the fallen Ant King while the latter desperately tries to crawl away. Without hesitation, Jinwoo leaps toward him, declaring that escape is not an option. Activating his skill Mutilate, he unleashes a flurry of rapid strikes on the Ant King's back with immense speed. As the Ant King lies motionless on the ground, a notification appears, confirming that Jinwoo has defeated his enemy and that his skills have leveled up. Just then, Beck urgently calls out to Jinwoo, informing him that Cha Hai-in is in critical condition. Realizing that he has taken too long, Jinwoo understands that he needs to find a healer fast. However, his Shadow Exchange skill has limitations. There is still some time left before he can use it again, and he is unsure if teleporting with another person is even possible since he has never tested it. He considers flying out on Kaisel's back, but fears that Hai-in will not survive the journey. His mind races as he wonders if any healers from the Blade Guild are still alive. There has to be another way. Suddenly he flinches as a new idea strikes him. Turning to the cameraman, Jinwoo firmly instructs him to turn off the camera. The cameraman hesitates, puzzled by the sudden request. Jinwoo, however, warns him to hurry, threatening to destroy the device if he does not comply. Startled, the cameraman quickly shuts off the camera, still wondering why Jinwoo has made such an urgent demand. Without wasting any more time, Jinwoo commands his shadow soldiers to locate Min Byung-gyu's body. Beck's eyes widen in shock as he realizes what Jinwoo is planning. The shadows retrieve the decapitated corpse, and Jinwoo wonders if shadow extraction will work, considering that the Ant King had chewed off Byung-gyu's head. His tension eases when a notification confirms that shadow extraction is possible. Acknowledging that this is the only way, he issues the command, "Arise." However, nothing happens. Confused and concerned, Jinwoo tries again, only to face another failure. He knows his extraction skill is at a high enough level for such a task, so the issue must lie elsewhere. Perhaps Byung-gyu strongly resists becoming a shadow soldier. He speculates that Byung-gyu believes it is immoral to turn a human into one. But Jinwoo cannot afford to hesitate. He has to save the person still clinging to life. Gathering his resolve, he tries one final time. This time, the transformation begins. Beck seizes Jinwoo's shoulders, demanding to know what he has done to Byung-gyu. His eyes widen in disbelief as he realizes Jinwoo possesses the power to command the dead. The surrounding hunters are equally stunned. Jong-in voices his amazement, wondering if Jinwoo truly has the ability to harness the powers of the deceased. Dong-wook, watching the unfolding scene, remarks that Jinwoo is no ordinary summoner. As soon as Byung-gyu's shadow emerges, it moves without command, walking straight to Cha Hai-in and casting healing magic. Beck watches, questioning whether this is really Byung-gyu restoring her. Jinwoo, observing the scene, states that he understands Byung-gyu's nature. Despite receiving no orders, he instinctively begins healing Ms. Cha. It proves that, even in death, Byung-gyu retains his warm heart. Beck clenches his fists and closes his eyes, recognizing that the figure before them is no longer Byung-gyu. Jinwoo shares in his pain. The cameraman, watching from a distance, finally understands why Jinwoo had asked him to turn off the camera. The world cannot know about this. Meanwhile, Jong-in reflects on the battle, acknowledging that Jinwoo grows stronger with every encounter. It is a terrifying ability. Beck then speaks to Jinwoo, admitting that though Byung-gyu's abilities will undoubtedly be useful in future battles, the man himself despised violence. He pleads with Jinwoo not to send Byung-gyu into battle again. Jinwoo gently removes Beck's hand from his shoulder, remarking that this is the second time Beck has done so. However, unlike before, Beck is not issuing a command. This time, it is a heartfelt request. With a small smile, Jinwoo agrees. Turning to Byung-gyu's shadow, he issues a final command, terminating the extraction. The shadow slowly fades away. Beck's eyes brim with gratitude as he whispers his thanks. Above them, a helicopter circles the island, searching for the remaining hunters. The crew spots them and quickly alerts the others. The hunters, Jong-in, Taegyu, Dong-wook, and the cameraman make their way toward the chopper. Dongwook carries the unconscious Cha Hai-in, while Baek holds the lifeless body of Min Byung-gyu. The helicopter carefully descends, landing near the group as they board one by one. However, Jinwoo and Baek remain outside, not yet ready to leave. Jinwoo informs Baek that he will remain behind, as he still has unfinished business. Baek understands this raid is not over yet. Jinwoo assures Baek that he will clear the path and eliminate the remaining ants. Summoning Kaizul, he tells Baek that they will meet again before soaring into the sky. From above, he hunts down the last remnants of the ant horde. Meanwhile, aboard a Japanese hunter's ship, Hoshino Minoru appears visibly shaken. He turns to Sugimoto, his voice trembling, and declares that the creature they encountered was a monster. Struggling to compose himself, he insists that the others cannot possibly understand since they did not see it firsthand. They did not witness how that beast brutally killed Mr. Goto. Filled with despair, he states that victory is impossible. The raid has failed. No hunter in the world could slay such a beast. Sugimoto, attempting to calm him, urges him to stop worrying, informing him that the Jeju Island raid has already ended and that the monster was defeated. Minoru cannot believe it, but Sugimoto reassures him, explaining that they just received confirmation from the South Korean headquarters. The information must be true. As Sugimoto reflects on a past conversation with Goto before the raid, he recalls their discussion about a powerful hunter in South Korea, Sung Jinwoo. Despite Sugimoto's confidence, Goto sensed that Jinwoo might be stronger than they had thought. As the ship continues its journey, a crew member reports that the ants are dispersing. Sugimoto immediately orders all units to prepare for battle. Meanwhile, in the United States, within the walls of the Federal Bureau of Hunters, footage of Jinwoo defeating the Ant King concludes. Michael Connor turns to the director and asks for his thoughts. Director David Brennan responds that he has watched the videos, not realizing how much time has passed. It is already well past 4 in the morning. He tells Michael that he already knows the answer to his question, remarking that Michael wouldn't have come to his house at such an ungodly hour otherwise. Michael comments on Jinwoo's extraordinary ability to summon and command over 100 beasts, calling him one of a kind. He believes it would be a waste to let such talent go unrecognized, arguing that South Korea is too small of a country for someone like Sung Jinwoo. Mr. Brennan agrees and asks if Michael has any additional information about him. Michael presents a file explaining that it contains details about the explosion at the Bureau a few months ago, known as the Sung Il-hwan incident. He recounts how Sung Il-hwan was captured alive inside an A-rank gate on the East Coast by an A-rank hunter named James. Initially, they were uncertain whether he was human or a magic beast, but Sung claimed to be a hunter from South Korea. The Bureau still retains the information gathered at the time of the incident. However, it turns out that he is Sung Jinwoo's father. Michael informs the director that they have a perfect opportunity, as no other country has even heard of Sung Jinwoo yet. Mr. Brennan acknowledges this, but insists that they cannot repeat what they did with Hwang Dong-soo. South Korea has long been an ally of the United States, and taking another S-rank hunter from them would be a diplomatic insult. Michael, however, argues that Sung Jinwoo is worth the risk. Mr. Brennan asks if Michael is certain he can handle it. Michael assures him that he will do his best. Back on Jeju Island, Jinwoo's shadow soldiers battle relentlessly against the magic beast ants, setting ablaze the unhatched eggs. As Jinwoo observes, he realizes that he gains experience points for destroying unhatched ants as well, a fortunate bonus. He opens his inventory, noting that he needs to organize his items soon. As he considers his options, his gaze falls on the Demon Monarch's sword. The blade glows with a blue light, crackling with electricity. Deciding to put it to use, he swings the sword, unleashing a storm of blue lightning that incinerates the eggs. Amazed by its power, Jinwoo decides that it would be a waste to keep such a weapon stored away and continues using it to eradicate the remaining eggs. Eventually, he eliminates all the ants and reaches level 100. He then returns the sword to his inventory and approaches the Ant King's corpse. Standing before the lifeless body, Jinwoo stretches his hand forward and attempts to extract its shadow. As he does, the surroundings turn completely black. He wonders why it is so dark and finds himself unable to feel anything. Questions race through his mind. Could this be happening because he attempted the extraction, or had the process failed? Behind him, the Ant King's shadow begins to take form. A notification appears, confirming the successful extraction. Jinwoo turns to his new creation, relieved that he did not fail. The ant, once a king himself, now bows before his new master. Jinwoo notices that this shadow has a rank he has never encountered before. Until now, ranks have been categorized as Standard, Elite, Knight, and Elite Knight. Could General be the next step above? If so, it would mean this entity surpasses all the shadow soldiers he has extracted so far. Though considering how strong the Ant King was in life, this does not surprise him. Just as he prepares to extract the Queen's shadow, the Ant King suddenly speaks. Addressing Jinwoo as his king, he urges him to give him a name. Jinwoo notes that the unconditional loyalty displayed by all his shadow soldiers applies to this one as well. He then asks how the Ant King is capable of speech. The shadow replies that he always could. Jinwoo considers that the Ant King may be able to speak because he had the ability before becoming a shadow soldier. Is that what he is trying to convey? However, this was not the case with his other soldiers. Those who were once human lost their ability to speak after becoming shadows. The same applies to Min Byung-gyu and Tusk. The only difference is their rank. Perhaps the others will also gain the ability to speak once they reach a higher rank. Jinwoo asks the Shadow Ant if he truly wishes to follow him, even though he was the one who killed him. The Ant King asserts that Jinwoo did not kill him, but rather granted him rebirth through his power. Expressing overwhelming joy, he swears eternal loyalty, vowing to serve Jinwoo for all eternity. The Shadow Ant then humbly requests a name from his king. Jinwoo considers that naming him simply Ant or Bug would be too plain. He deserves a name that sets him apart from the other ants. Recalling the name of the author who wrote a novel titled The Ants, Jinwoo bestows the name Beru upon him. Beru expresses deep gratitude, acknowledging Jinwoo as his master. With that settled, Jinwoo proceeds to extract the Queen's shadow. As soon as the Queen's shadow emerges, Jinwoo notices something strange. He senses that his bond with the ants has weakened. He asks Beru if he can explain what just happened. The ant humbly responds that the Queen possesses an inherent power to rule over her colony. Jinwoo questions whether this means that as long as the Queen remains alive, she retains authority over the ants. He then inquires about the Queen's mana levels, noting that they seem unusually low for her rank. Curious, he asks why her mana has decreased. Beru explains that most of the Queen's mana was used for reproduction. Since she no longer has a body to fulfill that purpose, her mana levels have significantly dropped. Jinwoo quickly realizes that the Queen is not suited for combat, and Beru confirms his assumption. Determining that there is no need for two commanders, Jinwoo terminates the extraction. The Queen's shadow dissipates into smoke, vanishing into the air. Jinwoo then informs his shadow soldiers that they do not need to collect the essence stones. All of them will be used to reconstruct Jeju Island's infrastructure and compensate for the damages. They should not keep any for themselves. Jinwoo notes that the gem he obtained from Beru's corpse will be more than enough for him. Now, his most pressing concern is figuring out how to deal with the remaining ants. He wonders whether he has enough troops to wipe them out. As he ponders this, Beru speaks up, reporting that their enemies are struggling to navigate the skies without a leader. They are incapable of maintaining formation and are scattering in confusion. Jinwoo asks Beru if he knows how many ants remain. Beru informs him that there were 8,700 ants before the attack. Approximately 4,000 have survived. Jinwoo remarks that he thought he had taken down a significant number during the battle, yet many still remain. He then asks Beru if he can wipe out the rest himself. With unwavering loyalty, Beru responds that he will follow Jinwoo's command without hesitation. Meanwhile, in the middle of the ocean, the hunters aboard the battleships prepare for the incoming threat. Jong-soo is the first to spot the approaching ants. The battleship's artillery fires at full capacity as the ants advance. Mage hunters launch magical attacks, adding to the chaos. The sky erupts in bright flashes and explosions. Gina, a member of the Hunters Guild, alerts the others that the ants are heading northbound, directly toward the Knights Guild. Sun Ki-hoon quickly commands the Hunters Guild members to prepare for battle. The Vice Guild Master of the Fame Guild instructs her guild members to get ready as well, ordering them to slaughter every ant in sight. The Fiend Guild hunters, determined to reclaim their honor and glory, steel themselves for the fight. Knowing that a single ant is as strong as a B-rank hunter, they assume battle positions, aware that breaking formation could mean certain death. Amidst the chaos, Minsung trembles in fear, questioning how they are supposed to fight such monsters. Another hunter nearby notes that despite Minsung's A-rank status, he is a total coward. As the ants reach the shores of Haeundae, the sky darkens. Juhae, struck with fear, doubts whether they stand a chance against the creatures. Song Chi-yul observes how fast the ants are closing in. They are now within arm's reach. Just as they are about to strike, a blue streak of light flashes across the sky. Ju and Chi-yul freeze in shock. Ju wonders what just killed those ants, while Chi-yul marvels at the speed of the attack, unable to comprehend what he has witnessed. The mysterious blue streak is none other than Beru, executing his master's command with deadly precision. Efforts to exterminate the ants continue for 2 days in the southern regions of South Korea. Some ants are also spotted near Chinese waters. On board a Chinese ship, the crew cannot believe that the ants have already reached China. They have not slept for 2 days. Now, the second wave of ants is within shooting range. The crew awaits the order to fire. However, the captain tells them to hold on. It seems their hero wants all the action to himself. An unknown hunter steps forward. He looks up at the sky, watching the horde of ants approach. Determined, he prepares to send every last one of them to the depths of the ocean. Unsheathing his twin swords, he unleashes a powerful energy attack. Explosions erupt as ant bodies are torn apart, their remains plummeting into the sea. With the threat neutralized, the hunter sheathes his swords, remarking that these creatures are pathetic. If the ant that Sung Jinwoo fought were still alive, he might have had a bit more fun. What a shame. Meanwhile, at the Scavenger Guild in the United States, Laura approaches a high-ranking guild member and asks for his thoughts. She points out that Mr. Huang and Sung Jinwoo are linked by a single incident. There is a possibility that Sung Jinwoo killed Mr. Huang's older brother, which could be fueling his desire for revenge. As Laura reflects on the potential consequences, her thoughts drift to Thomas Andre, the guild master of the Scavenger Guild. Thomas, considering the situation, acknowledges that meeting Sung Jinwoo will now be even more difficult. It is unfortunate. He had been looking forward to meeting him in person. Laura asks her superior what he will do if Mr. Huang and Sung Jinwoo end up in a fight. Thomas smirks and tells her that she still does not understand. Mr. Huang belongs to the Scavenger Guild, and the Scavenger Guild belongs to him. He will not forgive anyone who interferes with his property, not even the government of the United States. On the third night of the Jeju Island raid, soldiers, along with hunters from the Knights Guild, the representative guild in the Yeongnam region, arrive on Jeju Island to collect essence stones and remain on standby in case of another incident. Jong-soo leads the group and shares a story from his past. He recounts that there was once a man who never had a bit of luck. This man always strove to be the best at what he did. His dream was to become a gold medalist. He trained relentlessly to become stronger and followed strict diets to compete in a lower weight division. He endured intense training sessions, and the only thing left was for him to compete in the Olympics. It was his lifelong dream. He passed the doping test, had a good dream the night before, and was in peak condition. However, a manometer evaluation revealed that he had awakened, barring him from competing in the Olympics. Yoontae asks Jong-soo if the story is about him. Jong-soo acknowledges that the man had to abandon his dream, but found a new purpose. He vowed to create the country's best guild. As the mission progresses, Jong-soo excitedly displays the high-quality essence stones they have collected. With these, his dream of forming the country's strongest guild is within reach. Another hunter jokingly comments that Jong-soo is essentially committing embezzlement, but Jong-soo brushes it off, focusing on the task. The area appears completely cleared. He reassures everyone that it is safe, sensing no mana in the vicinity, and encourages them to relax. However, as they advance, Jong-soo spots an ant lurking in hiding. With swift precision, he slices it down with his blade, eliminating the threat. He assures everyone that there is no need for excessive worry. There may be a few stragglers, but he and the Knights Guild are there to protect them. As Yoontae glances to the side, his eyes widen in shock. He spots something alarming and quickly alerts Jong-soo. The soldiers in the group also notice an unidentified figure approaching them. Jong-soo considers that the only other people on the island should be soldiers and association agents assigned to this mission. As the stranger moves closer, the hunters hesitate to open fire, realizing he is not a magic beast. Jong-soo warns the figure that he is trespassing in a restricted area. If he does not comply with their orders, they will shoot. The figure has glowing yellow eyes, sharp teeth, and wild black hair. He speaks in a language unfamiliar to the hunters, a tongue that sounds more beast-like than human. The tension in the air thickens as it becomes clear that the stranger is not alone. With a simple snap of his fingers, Jong-soo and his guild members collapse, their bodies going limp. Accompanying the stranger is an elderly man with blue skin and long silver hair. The humanoid beast, who first emerged from the shadows, questions the old man's actions. However, the old man calmly explains that there is no need for unnecessary commotion. He has merely put them to sleep. He then asks the humanoid beast to confirm something, and the latter affirms, stating that he is certain it was his power. The old man finds this puzzling, unable to understand why that man is aiding these humans. The humanoid beast responds casually, saying that no one can truly predict what is going on inside his head. If the old man is curious, he suggests asking him directly. The beast then notes that the area reeks of rotting ants and wonders how that woman would have reacted if she had witnessed this scene. The old man, however, remains unfazed. He declares that the hunt will proceed as scheduled. Nothing has changed. With a light motion of his hand, he conjures a portal in midair. The humanoid beast speculates that one of them is in South Korea and suggests dealing with them first. The old man, however, prefers to leave the matter to someone else who is also in Korea. The humanoid beast questions whether this is merely an excuse to avoid involvement. The old man leaves the interpretation open, stating that the beast is free to think whatever he wants. With that, he steps through the portal, which vanishes behind him. Now alone, the humanoid beast scoffs, calling the old man a coward. He glances down at the unconscious humans and decides there is no reason to complicate things further. Withdrawing his hand, he vanishes into another portal, leaving the area as silently as he arrived.